welcome to the Modern Point Management Talk. Today, I know Mattias, as you can see. Someone need to do any role of Mattias because we're going to do the interview to him, because obviously someone need to do the interview. You, Mattias, first things that I have to say is the amazing job you have done. It's impressive. I mean, your interview, I think tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 11 or 12, right? And first of all, thank you for all the work that you have done. First of all, to introduce to all the official contributor, okay, to learn more. And when you and me, we would discuss it, the idea was to learn more about you guys, the official contributor doing I can't say, I'm saying, but I can't find sometimes I'm missing words to tell you and thank you the biggest and incredible and amazing job you are doing on posting and helping each other, right? But today I'm here. I'm doing like let's say like a Mattias role, okay? I'm an interviewer. I'm going to ask Mattias, and one of the the main question obviously we're going to ask Mattias is, tell us please who your name. We know of course your name. Tell age, personal status, where do you live? I know where, but you explain us. So all of you.
Well, thank you for that, Angel. And yes, it has been a blast to actually interview all of the OCs of this group. It's been 10, actually. And that was the OCs from the year 2021. And as many have seen, we have gotten some new OCs in 2022. So I'm not done. I have to interview the rest of the new OCs and put them into the playlist. But as you said, it's only me left here on the OC from the 2021 year. And my name is Mattias Melkersen, and I am 36. Couple of, actually 6 days more. It's my birthday, the 16th of February. So yeah, 37, very, very, very soon.
Right.
My personal status is that I'm married for almost 13 years, and I have 3 kids. So a lot of time going on with just give them food and make sure they have proper clothing and yeah, happy and healthy.
Yeah.
And where do I live? I live in Denmark, and for those who know Denmark, it's a very, very little country, although who don't know Denmark. We are placed in Europe, and we are approximately 6 million in all of Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the parts of Denmark is actually together with Germany, so we can drive to Germany and down to south and ski and stuff, and do yeah, we can actually drive far away from Denmark via some bridges, etc. So it's a small country, but lots of people, and I'm very happy about and fortunate at living in Denmark.
No, Denmark is. I think it's one of the. I have to recognize that still I didn't visit in your country, okay, but it's one in my list because I hear a lot of things beautiful. And in fact, I'm the guy very. I love to do mountains. I love to do the visiting lake, and I guess is your country looks like it more in that way. And especially if we compare where I am from in Spain, which is more dry, compared to you are more green, okay? And it's a bit, and I guess also with the temperature, might be we have been a little bit. But today, by the way, we have a very nice weather here in Spain. We are nearly 20 degrees, which is more like spring. Yeah, we usually, we have most of the time a nice weather. You most of the guy you are probably visiting Spain. Okay,
I
good
love
to know.
Spain.
Yeah, have you been here in Spain?
Yeah, lots of time, and most of the time I visit Spain, it's Gran Canaria or Canary Islands. So basically Africa, right? But It's part of
Yeah,
Spain.
it is part of Spain. Is it true? Is it
Yeah,
true?
yeah.
Okay, cool. It's good to know all the thing about you. Now let's talking about business. Now, how long had you been in the business?
Mm. Yeah, I've been in the business since 2004. Started young. I was actually in the gymnasium, high school, and dropped out of that because I wanted to start do something instead of reading. And I am much a learner by doing and not so much reading. But once I became older, I found it very useful to actually read about stuff. So the theory about something is good to know before you do the practice, right? But
Mhm.
it is the best combination is to practice and have the theory as well. So I found out that it was actually a good thing to study. But I have a lot of drive myself, so I don't have to have a schema in school to actually get something done. So let's say I needed some certificate or something to be able to fulfill a role. I would
Mhm.
gladly take that and read up upon Azure AD or Azure infrastructure or whatever I needed to create a project and help customers. Yeah, in the cloud. So that's actually how I do.
Right.
Um, it's very much based on demands and what I like to do. So since
Good.
2004, I got into the business and I started doing a lot of automation on software.
Right.
And the main thing about that was to have a proper quality. So,
Right.
so how can we, from a central perspective, have quality packages that we know 99% of the time are actually
Mhm.
installing on a customer environment?
Okay.
That's if you can crack that one, you have a solid way of deploying your software. So
Right.
I started out using a format called MSI, which uses the Windows installer inside Windows,
Mhm.
and it uses a transactional method. So it's like when you go to the bank and you withdraw money, either
Mhm.
it goes good or it doesn't go. You don't have any money in the bank, right?
Okay.
So there's no like, okay, my installation failed halfway, and then my app would be half installed and leave out a lot of files or registry and stuff like that. It
Mhm.
is either it's installing or then it will do a rollback. So the format MSI is really a great way of achieving this 99% of successful install on a environment. So
Mhm.
that was what I started with. And then I moved on to a system called Configuration Manager. Many know that from SCCM, but now it's another name, Microsoft Endpoint Manager, Configuration Manager. So
Right.
yeah, Microsoft changes names and still people are calling it SCCM, but it's not. So
I'm
ME
solid here. SMSS.
SMS,
SMSS. It
yeah,
was
that's
previous. It's a
even
very that's very senior. That's
that's
it's a very
even
senior.
the older name for that. And
Yeah. Thank you
someone
for the
actually
first.
someone actually called it slow moving software, so SMS. But you know, SMS is also a text format on the mobile phone, so it was rather difficult to tell which system you were actually talking about. So I guess the term SCCM or MEMCM is better for the product. I just call
Right.
it configuration manager. And yeah, from there I started to create a lot of project for the Danish customers and got to know configuration manager really well. And yeah, then cloud came and we were able to co-manage and tenant attach our device, our environment. And
Right.
and have that cloud power to roll out devices and make sure that even you were an internet only, you were able to manage your devices, which were a huge benefit for companies during the pandemic, for example. So yeah, now I'm very much focused on Intune, the Intune part, the cloud part of Microsoft Endpoint Manager. And I mean, you can't be a expert on everything. Even if you think you are a expert on Intune, there's so many different platforms. Then you have like iOS, you have Android, you have Windows, you have Mac OS, you have iPad OS. You can't be an expert on all topics. So you have to choose what you would like to be expert on, and then be a specialist on that to dig into the areas of the cloud product and how that manages your systems. And there are very many jobs today that either says cloud architect or endpoint or a modern workplace specialist and all that roles. And that is how the time has moved, right? So all these on-prem systems are going to exist in a very, very long way time from now. But many customers are moving towards having a hybrid setup. So they have both the on-prem, but they have cloud as well. So yeah, since 2004 to now, yeah, that was my journey.
Right. What is your feeling about, because it's, since the announcement of Microsoft regarding with the Microsoft Endpoint Manager and the evolution we're trying to push to the Intunes, I know what you mean. Now, clouds looks like the point that, Microsoft is showing, it's pointed out of there. But how is your feeling regarding for, even from customer, from partner, or from the market, if you wish, are really people evaluating, or really people are still stuck into the on-premise infrastructure, or they are, trying to smoothly, because it's still, you hear still companies working on SNCM, with the call management, as you mentioned, since the pandemic, call management have been the star feature that everyone want to use, right? That makes sense, right? But how do you feel? Do you think it will take a long, because I guess that large infrastructure can move in one day or another like this, I guess. What are your feeling? What do you think about it?
Yeah, what is my feeling? Well, not everyone is into cloud because they're not allowed, or because they can't see the benefit of that.
Right.
I've met customers that said we have a solid infrastructure, we can handle all the demands from our clients, and we have a very, very good VPN infrastructure. So they can't see why we should use a cloud product that can either manage your device using internet only. But yeah, that's up to them, right? So do I see a lot of customers going co-management? Yeah, no. Do I recommend co-management? Yes, if you want to start your journey slowly. But actually, the device, when you are using Config Manager, you typically are joined your devices to the Active Directory, and the Active Directory is a very old component in the infrastructure, right? And in order to have our device to actually communicate to Active Directory, we need some kind of VPN connection when we are not at the office. So yeah, maybe the best way is just to start over. And I mean, it sounds like, okay, that is going to take a lot of time, but it really doesn't, because setting up autopilot, which is the new way of provisioning devices, it takes not very much time. It's actually very fast. And yeah, I mean, having the device identity in AD it's like that is the old way. That is because we want to hit it by GPOs. Otherwise, there aren't really any benefit by having it in AD. So having it in Azure AD and have Intune to put policies into it, you actually get that feedback from the device that the policy applied to it. So you don't get that from GPO. That is set and forget, and then you hope the policy went through to the client.
Right.
So yeah, whether I see customer using co-management, well, yes. Currently, I'm at a customer where we enable the co-management, but that is only for starting the cloud journey. Our target is to use Autopilot and Azure AD only on our device. I'm not saying that they are not going to use Config Manager, but they will have a very much smaller amount of devices that are going to be managed by Config Manager. And Config Manager, it's a really great product, but it's also complex. And for consultants, it's a great tool because then you can spend a lot of time, indexing the SQL and make sure the system runs clean and perfectly, et cetera, upgrade it 3 times a year and all that. But going to Intune, to a more simple way of managing devices where Microsoft actually take care of the patching of Intune. Every month we have a new UI, and new features are presented in the portal for you to use. And I mean, you don't have to do anything, just pay the EMS license and you're good to go. So what I tend to say is that what are the business strategy for the next couple of years? And then I recommend on behalf of that strategy. So if let's say users are not that technical and they want a device that is that you can log on and then everything is set up for you, then maybe Autopilot is not for that customer or not for that particular area of users because they need some special treatment. Then Config Manager and PXE and all that traditional stuff is super great for them. But maybe you have some sales staff or someone that doesn't will exist on the office that often. They might like the Autopilot. So it's not like you have to choose. It's a mix of it.
Very interesting, Mattias. Very interesting. Honestly, listening to you is it happened not just only with you, but it's happening to me when I listen to any other OCs. Reading also, it looks like in the feed of the group, don't see any identical, any the same post. Is everything every time is different. It looks like it never stop. It's very interesting what you say. Really interesting. Good. Now this led me to your comment. This led me to jump in another 3 questions regarding one. Okay, so the first question is how many hours do you work? How do you do? If you are doing from home, if you are sharing at the office, and all together for what company are you currently work? And how you do that? Because I mean, you are one of the active I see in LinkedIn, but also especially in the group as an official contributor. How do you do that?
Yeah,
That's the question. How do you do that? I mean,
exactly.
I hope your wife, your kids is, but you have to give time for yourself, for your work, for your family. Tell us. I mean, what is your secret?
I don't have a secret because we have 24 hours a day, and that is how it is. We need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to be socialized and all that. So I'm no different than others. I might be a little bit more boring than others because I don't do much partying and stuff. So what I usually do, I have had my wife was on maternity leave for the last 2 years, and that has helped me on my professional career because I can spend more time on work.
Okay.
So I'm in a consultancy business called MindCore that is managing Microsoft 365 and
Good.
Azure infrastructure. So we have a lot of competencies in that area, and I'm working mostly with endpoints, and I have a team that does the same. So
Okay. Mm.
currently, I have one large customer that I'm working with, and it's a long stretch where we plan stuff, and that's I really like that way of working. And
Mhm.
when we work with so long stretch, we need to know what is out there. So part of the work is to actually dig into community tools and find out if we currently lack a feature in the product we use, how can we go around it, or how can we get Microsoft to actually build it for us? So 8 hours a day, I am doing that as consultancy job, and well, then I have time with my family. We need to have supper or food at least. We have an hour after food where we play, do stuff, do laundry, all that daily operation in the home that needs to be taken care of. And then kids go to sleep at between 7 and 8, 9 o'clock at evenings. And once they put to sleep, I get back to the computer, not every evening, but many evenings, and I'll dig into solutions and find out what is next steps, do community solutions, blog, you do YouTube, etc. So my secret is that I think I have a drive that many doesn't, and that is the thing. If you like to just work 7.5 hours, that's fine, and definitely you should do that because it can be stressful to have all these hours and all these, things in play.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a person that gets stressed over work. So it's just to write it down and get it done. And yeah, I'm very like, yeah, I didn't get to do this today. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I write it down so I get it done, and I get into the solutions that I need to look into. And of course, as I started to say, if you want to be a specialist, you can't take in too much. I can't be a specialist on Azure infrastructure while I'm a specialist on MDM in Intune, for example. That's
Mm.
how it is. That's the
Yeah.
game. You have to set boundaries, and then you're going to succeed. So
Good.
yeah.
No, but you are listening you, and I know you since about a year and a half, more or less, since you are more probably because I follow up you in the LinkedIn, you posting. I can define you a very curious guy that you are trying to find out that you are not you don't feel you are comfortable, and it looks like you got a very nice equilibrium in between your work. You're right what you say. It's definitely what you say is right. You have to find out your equilibrium between your private life, your personal life, and of course, because I'm having it, for me, I'm feeling like you. I mean, I'm permanent. Sometimes I need to stop because even it looks like you are thinking, you are physically in one place, but mentally you are in in another point that you are thinking. But that is as default you are. You can't change. I told my wife, look, don't try me. I can't. I am who I am. And but you looks like it. In that way. And I really like it. And I now understand on how why those brilliant posts that you do. Okay, I now understand that you are very good, very good. But what company you work in? That's the point. Not sure that I hear you. It's a
Yeah,
Minecore.
yeah, Minecore, yes. And yeah, so back to the posting of blogs, etc. I do a lot of running and to stay healthy. Having a job where you sit in front of the computer all day And when you say you're an IT guy, people say, okay, you drink cola and you eat pizza. And
Like a
that's
geek.
like you are a geek, and a geek can be positive. But it's not like that. Indeed, yes, I drink cola, but it's not every day. And I eat pizza, yes, I do, but not every day. And sitting still at work, you need to have something that you need to get fresh air. You need to move around. You need to keep your body active, because otherwise you get all these collateral damage, you could say. Headache, spine issues, back issues. I mean, there's so many things with these office jobs. So for me, it's very important that I once a day do some exercise. If it is my bike or it's running or walking, um, it's very important for me. And sometimes, or most of the times, I have kids with me, especially in the weekends. So I don't spend that time on myself, but I actually do it together. So we have quality time while I doing exactly that. So that's also a good way of clearing your thoughts. And as you said, that's where I actually think through a post or some work that I couldn't fix that day. The
Right.
next day, when I've cleared my thoughts, I
Mhm.
fix it. So you could say it is kind of work hours when you exercise, but it's not really, right. But you fix stuff when you get out, get fresh air and new eyes on the problem.
Look, I pick up one of the words that you say because I do. But unfortunately, since I think it's 6-7 months, unfortunately, my meniscus was broken because I was running a lot, and I love running like you. I love to. And when I got time, try to, I do maximum a half marathon. I'm not doing more because with age, I have to take, it's not question of, I'm not, in that point, not competitive, but I believe, as you say, when you are doing some kind of, me, for example, when I'm doing 1 hour, okay, I used to go 3 or 4 hours, 3 or 4 days in a week for running. And I'm lucky because I'm working, I'm living here very close. I'm with the park and it's a beautiful place. So I can go to do running. But it's true that when you back, mentally it's like you clear. You're tired, but you are tired like physically. I mean, that is good. You go into the bed because you're physically tired, not mentally. That is the difference, And then you sleep well, and then you wake up fresh in the morning, and then you do whatever. You are like a lion. You are going for that, right? Of course, I took coffee. I need coffee. I'm on coffee man. But yeah, guys, you probably know you actually coffee or tea. You are coffee or tea man? What are you?
Coffee.
Coffee man. Okay, cool.
Lots
I
of
am.
coffee.
Yeah, coffee. But it's like you say, you're right. I mean, that kind of thing that you say is totally. I totally agree. That's a equilibrium. Let's say in a healthy life. Totally agree. Good point. Good point. But now getting back to the tech area, how many? If you, I mean, because it's like you say, totally. I mean, you can't be expert in everything. And if you try to do it, you might be. I mean, hey, you can be a genius. As long as you are a genius, think about it. They're a genius. They're a genius. Okay, but if, as you are a normal person and you are now, what area do you think? Let's 3, 4 mention of us area you feel you are okay, comfortable. I am good in this. What area do you think? Tech area, by the way.
Yeah, well, I have been, you say you are an expert when you've done something 10,000 hours. And I've digged into applications and registry and services and file systems in Windows for more than 10,000 hours. So it's not something I forget right away. So having done that before in my career, it makes a solid ground for me to work on other stuff like Intune. So I feel like an expert on the app format and what exists out there and how we can actually work with that. So that's a solid fundamentals thing I have with me now. So what I think I'm an expert on is transitioning from configuration manager. So the steps you go through the co-management, or how do you start using Intune to fully managed by Intune. So that's actually my expertise right now. And I do a lot of pre-sailing for the company on projects to start them up and to make sure that the customer actually knows about these services, because often they don't. And how should they? Because I sit with this every day and I don't even know everything. So how should they when they manage and operate a whole company, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sat together with a customer today, and they have 2 operations people for the whole company, and they have to solve all exchange problems, all network issues, all endpoint issues, all. I mean, they are busy. So how in earth should they be able to dig down into a small area and be expert on that? That's why they hire consultants to do that, and I'm out and explaining what's in the project and where should we start, fundamental security, what is the strategy of the company, what would you like to automate more and stuff. So yeah, the journey from on-prem to cloud, that is my area as we speak. Yeah.
Ooh, but I think you are going to get a lot works there, because it looks like the future. I mean, is it clear that sooner or later the company need to move in that way? But cloud is cloud. That's probably you can slow your decision, but at the end, sooner or later, you are right there. Most of the activities, personal working, is based on the cloud. So our, our relationship, our daily life is related to. So companies can be avoid to that. So you got definitely a lot of work to do that. Definitely is a was a very good expert. You will
Yeah,
probably not need that. I mean, you will not miss a job, so for sure.
I think that's where the wind blows, at least. And we're sitting here on Teams, right, and have this interview, and that's the cloud. I mean, the possibility to expand, and that is very a big argument for customers. And the other argument is, if you're a small startup company, why should you have a lot of infrastructure? Why should you buy servers, etc.? Why don't you just buy some licenses and then get started on Intune for device management, and buy a Microsoft license that contains Office 365? So you have Exchange Online, you have
Wow.
Teams, you have collaboration on Word documents, etc. You have SharePoint, all that. It's there as a service, and that is a very, very, very strong suite to actually buy into as a startup, but it's also a very, very strong tool to buy in as a large enterprise.
Mm,
So you can scale it however you like, and that's what I like about the cloud.
mm. Yeah, no, definitely. It's a point that that you are mentioning is definitely is where the market trends is going to. Look, we are arriving to the end. I got, I think, to a question, if I'm wrong. The 2 last question is, let me first of all, of course, you are posting in our group. You got many, of course. I need to ask you. I got in my mind the 2 last that you did, which is, by the way, you got the top one of December. You got the top one of December. Felicidades, congratulations, sir.
Thank
That's
you.
is good. Is good that I love it to do that. I mean, in fact, it's becoming a very competitive. You can't imagine. Now I remember a year ago, and a post on the top post, maximum can get a 100 reaction. Now you needed to jump it off that. 100 is it can be easily but it's incredible. That is mean how it's engagement of the community, and that is hard because to get on top of that, it's because now they're not secret. Now, or you are good or you are not good, simply like that. Or did you ask it to 200 or 400 people to react to you? It's just simply because you posted. That's what I say when people say, "Oh, thank you." No, thank you to you. I'm sorry, but it's the people react to you. Is it yours? Yours or what you wrote? That's simply like that. But I got in my mind the Intune debug tool BLA 1.1. I'm not sure if you got the new one, but that you can, or the rerun one of multiple Win32. Tell me if I'm wrong. That's what I got in
That's
mind.
right. That's right.
Good. So I follow up, and it's not easy because you can see how many parts we got daily. Okay, but I try and keep in my mind those. And now I remember that's the last two one. Don't ask me for the rest because you got quite many. But now tell us three. What the three ones you think that is recommended to us, or would you love it? Tell us.
Yeah, it's hard to go by three, but because I have so much content that I distributed in 2021, and I think that's part of my DNA. I love to share, and I share what I stumble upon. So when I see something that I think, okay, I need to elaborate on this and make it clear for people how to use this kind of feature, then I tend to blog about it, or I create a video. And as you maybe know, I've started creating this YouTube channel, and I did that in August 2021. And at that time, I had like 0 subscribers, and now we are in early 2022, and I have more than 800 subscribers. And that again, it's because of there is content in there that people think is interesting, and yeah, so what is my top 3? Well, I must say the Intune debug tool is one of them because it
What's
helps
the top
me
one?
in my work. And what's in that, it is rerunning Win32 apps that failed. So once I have to test stuff here and now, I use that to rerun the app and see if the prereq or the requirement in the app is actually fit for production, etc. So that's great. The last I added to the tool was that look at some registry portions to see, okay, what has been changed the last 36 hours, to see if let's say you are in a transition period where you use all these GPOs and you want to transition to Intune. Then there is in there some shortcuts to look at some portions of registry to see were there any of my colleagues adding GPOs to my devices. Then it would say, yeah, you have registry here in the GPO section where we have added this and this and this.
All right.
And also to see, well, in the IME, the Intune Management Extension, which is the agent that handles, for example, Win32 apps in Intune, what happens in that registry and what happens behind the scene? Because, cloud is one black box. You can't go into the server. You can't see what happens behind the scene. So we need to do we need to look at the client, like, okay, how can we reverse engineer this and see what actually happens when I do this and this and this? So that's what I'm trying to do with this debug tool. The other I want to mention is actually in the early beginning where I started to blog about Windows Update for Business, because updating devices through WSOS or Config Manager can be a tedious assignment. We have to patch our devices, but can't we do that more automatically? And Windows Update for Business, I wrote the blog about how to enable the co-management and all the collection structure and how to put your device into Windows Update for Business and put a policy from Intune, etc. And I think that most of customers going the cloud way, they would like to use Windows Update for Business because it's automated. Microsoft handles these updates and your compliance are going to raise significantly. So that's number 2. Number 3, that's a hard one. I guess the latest YouTube videos I created with Jan Ketil and Maurice. I had done the last 2 videos on my YouTube channel, Mem Tips and Tricks, where I interview MVPs. And in these 2 particular videos, we look into how we can manage biases using Intune because it's not native in there. And the other one is with Maurice, where we have a log analytics to gather all data and actually have some nice graph around how the patch management is established and the status of that in our environment. And that is 2 very, very nice videos and very informative. And those guys really contribute to the community, I must say. They have spent so much time in doing these reports. So yeah, that's what I'm proud of right now. I'm doing a new series on Windows Defender Application Control with Kim, and wow, it's going to break some minds, because for me, security, it's like yeah, someone else needs to take care of the security. But Kim, he really knows how to tell and do parallels, so you understand what application control is. And I would say go in and see the series. It's the first series coming next week, and we are doing 3 sessions on application control. So I really look forward for session 2, where we go in the tech area and set up stuff.
Good. Very promise. Good. We were expecting to. Let's see. Okay, but let's wait when you launch that. I mean, when you publish that, it will be nice to be ready for that. And talking about your YouTube mem tips and tricks, right? Let's end debate that. Tell us from you. Give us, not necessarily from the tech, from life, from whatever you want, tips and tricks, because we are here for learning each other. As I say always, this is our slogan: learn and helping each other. It's a main point. So tell us a few. What did you got in your first mind?
What do I have as tips and tricks? Well, I'm want to go a little more general here, because the tips and tricks is that if you see a problem, then don't throw it away. Keep that problem and look into it and see what is actually the problem. Don't just reinstall a device if you see, okay, it's broken. Find out why it's broken. And I mean, maybe we don't have the proper time. Maybe it's not the time to do it, but at least remember the error you saw and put it in OneNote or something where you can actually say, I've seen this before. And then the next time you get it, you have that in your backpack. So learn from what you've seen, write it down, maybe start blogging, and then you will start see how you can remember, I saw that, and then you have it on your blog or you have it on your OneNote, etc. So be curious, and every day when you go to work, go home with the hands over your head and say, I learned something new today, just a tiny little bit.
Good advice. Good advice. I'm missing one question just because I'm curious. I was the ones who I choose to be coming on invite to you, because I one of my roles is obviously in the community to discover the talent, and you obviously got the talent. That is clear. And now, what do you feel when I send it to you, the invitation to this community? Because the community a year ago is not like it now. I mean, we are growing now. It's a bit different as we were before. How was that for you to become an ROC? And now you renew, by the way. And I'm happy, and I'm happy that you renew it. Thank you for renew, because that's when I have to tell you. Okay, it's a very, 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 very nice to have people like you. What are you feeling? What did you feel when I sent it to you the invitation?
Ah, it was the first time I was really recognized for something, and it started actually with that competition you had, where we had a money prize, and it was the most liked post who went away with the money prize, and I remember it was Damien doing that. Of course, he's a wizard.
Amen.
Yeah,
It's true.
Damien, he's the wizard from France, and yeah, he's doing so much work, and it's unbelievable. And I was like, oh, that was cool. And then you asked for this official contributor, and I was like honored. But I had to ask my company if I was allowed to do that. And they said, of course, you should do that. And that actually kickstarted my career again. Later on, I was awarded with MVP in June month to 2021, and that is definitely also the OC that contributed to me having that MVP prize.
Mm.
And actually, it was Damien and Adam Gross and Simon Binder who wanted to nominate me, and yeah, it was Adam
Yeah.
Gross who went first. So there's only one who can nominate. So I was very honored on that behalf, and I actually started by doing a lot of LinkedIn to say, okay, this is new in the Microsoft Docs and stuff like that, because I like to look at the docs and see what is actually in a supported state. So that was a lot of my contributions back then. What you could call that microblogging.
Mm.
So, but when I started the OC journey, we were 7,000 in the group, and now here, 1 year
Yeah, see.
later, we are over 20,000 in the group. And I know you, Angel, you have rejected many people because you want the endpoint people in the group, right? So we could have been like 45,000 members in the group, because
Mm. True.
you are sorting out like so I think one of the main reasons why this group is so popular is because we have a moderator like you, Angel, that goes in and actually likes every post and every comment. It must take very long time to do that, but you are in there and you are supporting whoever is going to write in there. If no one is answering a question in there, you reach out to some OCs, and then we answer the
Mm.
questions. So lots of the success is because of this is managed. It's not a unmanaged group. So kudos goes to you, Angel.
Oh, thank you, Mattias. It's
Can
true that it
can
needs
can
to.
can I ask
Yeah,
you one question?
yeah. If you like, we turn a little bit the role if you
So
wish.
let's
Just for
turn
10 minutes,
this
because
and
we go an hour interview. So
mhm.
just at 10 minutes, and I got a few things. Led you to ask me question. Ask me.
So when you started creating this group, what
Mm.
was the vision of that?
Well, it's a good. Wow. And it's a proof that we didn't prepare that because it's a question that you asked me. That people thought that probably you and me we prepared the question. It is not true. It's totally you are going to ask me. Okay, but no, I have nothing to hide. Is it true? I have to recognize one thing. When I create the group on what we are right now, it wasn't my expectation, but I realized later. But at the beginning, when I created the group, it was for another reason. Okay, but to be honest, is when I created the group, it was because at that time I was working for a company, which is we were working for an a plugin with the SNCM that allow manage Mac, an extension of the SNCM to manage Mac, right?
Mm.
And when I created the group, it was to say, okay, because I didn't see many people, related. I saw a few groups related about SNCM, but not really. And when I surprised is when I looking into the other groups, it was uh, it wasn't missing the reaction, because usually, but I don't mind. It's not LinkedIn. It's just communities in general, if you want a community works, the community, you have to have an engagement. This is not an engagement from member or from publisher or from a contributor, but it's an engagement. If you don't have that, the community simply doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense create a community with millions of members, but the community inside is simply silent and no one say anything or no reaction or no sharing acknowledges. It doesn't make sense at all. You can't call that as community. So when I create that at the beginning, I realized that the people I detected are hungry. People were really hungry to share each other. And that's why the reason I say helping each other, because in fact, I realized that people ask questions and some people were waiting someone could help to them, because, you know, it's like you say, you might be not expert on everything, but someone else can know that thing can help you to you. And I realized that is happening at the beginning. I was looking at my network in my LinkedIn. It was, you know, and in fact, it's quite, because when you started to work in 2004, it's the time, that time I create my LinkedIn profile. So imagine that I got now more than 15 years in LinkedIn. So I learned a little bit, okay? But the community at the beginning, I realized that the people were hungry to see, you know, share technology. And I realized that in other communities, in other groups, not just other groups or LinkedIn, whatever, okay, I realized that people doesn't react. The publication not control. And I say, okay, is that let's try to do, or let's try to do the things that is doing wrong in other place to do in the right way. Okay, that's what I thought. And I started to say, okay, when you create communities like you mentioned, is it necessary to accept all the requests? Is it necessary to accept the people that is not related to the conversation that we have, or the main discussion that we have in the community? That it makes sense, or is it really is necessary? And the first question was, no, we need to find out the right member. If we find the right member, I mean, it doesn't make sense that you create a community of dog and you invited people from chat. It doesn't make sense. The conversation is going to be completely, so you need to put it, people interested in dog, put in dog. And now, what I realized now is the last 3 years, because the community soon will be in the 3rd anniversary. And I have to be honest, it's growing more faster than we thought. Because well, that is good, because the work of you, the work of the OC, the work of non-OC as well, because you got OC contributor, but you got also the non-official contributor that I let them to, you know, to explain, to discover new talent, and it also to share, not just only from us, for outside, those people want to share as well. But I realized that, you know, the content is really another point that is very important. So you can't leave the people publishing. I understand that people sometimes want to publish things related to the webinars, but that is not, we need to do that, okay, for more controlled, okay? Let's leave the purely content of what people really is interested to. Otherwise, you know, we can't create a mix of communication that people did not feel identified and need to move to somewhere else. So that is what is the main member contents, and of course, one of the other point is activity. I mean, trying to create activities to make sure the people is wake up alive, to create a competitive community. For example, as you mentioned, one of the points that I created, the top 10 every month, is, and I'm going to highlight one of the words, the words it was in your mouth, recognize. Recognition. This is simply, that's one of my question it was to you, ask you, what did you feel? Because I love that. And honestly, I am not good as you and the OC and the people in technical, because I'm not technical background as yours. But I love what you say, okay? And I love what you know, I mean, for me, it's also learning. But now what I'm trying to understand, and what I am learning a lot, is the behavior of the people in the community. That's It's for me, it's my passion now to see what happened, what reaction when you post it, why don't you have reaction, or what the people, this behavior of the member, the activities. That is absolutely brilliant. That's my good learning. But the activity is the main point that we need to keep. Like you remember that we create the hours to motivate the people, and I found a sponsor to help us, to give. It's like when I say I remember that time I say, look, I think the hours the price it was 1,500 euro, things like it was Damian and Niklas, the two winners.
Mhm.
And I remember the webinar say, look guys, this is 1,000. It's a money. It's a good, but we need to learn what is that. It's a recognition. It's not a question of money. You're not going to be millionaires. I'm so sorry, but you can't. But the millionaire, you have to find the million in your hair, in your brand. This is you have to feel amazing and say, oh. I mean, I can put in your shoes. I try to put in your shoes when you saw that your post it was in the top one. I mean, I don't know if you slept that night or not, but you might you should. If I'm yours, I would say, honestly, I would sleep. I was thinking about, wow, my posts have been the top. Wow,
Mhm.
the work that you have done. I remember that, and I tried to explain to people when I did some webinars. Imagine they all see how they work. They got the baby left and the right hand. It's, the people don't realize that behind of there, it was a hard work. Or you think that the post becoming like this? I
Mm.
don't think so. No, Matthias, doesn't happen like this. So I try to put in recognize the physical contributor, but I try also to tell the member, hey, you guys, you saw what they did. Could you please just simply say thank you? And that's why I ask it. Like, and at first, what I have to give this example is me. I say, no, come on. What it costs to you to say thank you?
Yeah, nothing.
Might be then nothing. And that thank you isn't a very good payment. That is not necessarily to be physical or money, but it's just a really big. People use AOC will be motivated, and you will be, motivated to create more contents and find out more solving problem. How much it costs that? There's no money for that.
No,
Is it true or no, Matthias?
it's just kindness.
That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm a loving guy who love what you do. I'm trying to put all in the same. It's true that I love it. I spend it. That's taking me a full time, basically full time, and it's becoming more and more and more. And I love to do that. And I love,
Mm.
and I love it to every single new member receive a personal welcome from me.
Wow.
Every single.
Wow.
You check it probably. I invited to all the people who see this video. I invite to check the message, and you will see welcome, blah blah. And there is probably a template, something, and I change it a little bit, depending who is it. But I take care. And sometimes I'm visiting quite a lot profiling to make sure that okay, and and that's it. Sometimes I have to make the role as a moderator that people don't like, but I have to be, create the rules and create things to make sure we grow in the right direction. And let me tell you one thing, it's talking about activities, and well, that's that's the part that me, we know very well, but it's a good time now to say it's another activity that since I created this group, I was thinking, but you guys, you, Damian, Joey, Salana, everyone pushed me to, hey, now it's a time. Where we going? When we going to create a summit, event, conference, whatever you want to call, because it's. I mean, the people say now we are a very large community. We might be the top large community, I think. I'm not sure because I don't have the metrics to let you know, but we are one of the largest specialized in workplace or end user computing, and now we are going, and I think that we're going to organize it for just one simple, as I say, we're going to helping each other. We're going to create a journey which is a modern endpoint. I'm going to share it here and put it here, but I will put it because I'm going to put it to people see. We have created the logo, we have created all the presentation. It will be soon announced into the group, into already we have created the date is the 7th of April. Okay, it's a full day. We are trying to cover in all the region because, as you know, our community is worldwide. It means from China, it means from Argentina, from everywhere. That's what I love. That's what I love, especially because I'm an international guy. My wife is French. So imagine my two kids speaking French better than me, but I do French as well. But imagine we are bilingual at home. We are speaking several languages. I love international. I love to see people from different countries, different culture. That's what I love. I international guy. And that's one of the reasons I create that. So we are going to cover that. We are going to try. Some people probably were sleeping, but if we do all the day alone, and we do in the morning and in the afternoon, we were thinking you are one of the person responsible for that to create a very interesting contents that the people want to listen. We are going to give it the best of us. We're going to do the best of us, and we are going to sort out all of our imagination and trying to create a very good session where you are going to sponsor can be invited as well, and we don't know yet because we are more concentrated focused right now in our organization, and this is a very important point to make sure that we are going to create a very interesting and and really expected session that covered all our main technology that we mentioned in the group. Okay. But that is one of the things. The summit on the 7th of April is one thing that still we got 2 months, a little bit less, 2 months left. But wow, I'm really excited of that. Of course, with the helping of you and all this OC group, we are going to also to invite the guest speaker because of course there for sure people outside the group that they can contribute to us to improve, to learn more. And that's it. And that's it. That's the only thing that I can say right now. In the next days, next week, we are going to publish it more. We are going, and I invite everyone, please join, subscribe. I mean, subscribe, register. Let's do it because we are going to create our day, our workplace, modern workplace day for us that we are going to try to, try to give the best of us. That's the thing. So go.
The 7th April.
The 7th.
We have a LinkedIn event.
We do.
Go register, and we'll update that with the agenda. We're going to have a lot of tech tracks, 3 of them: strategic, beginners, and experts. Right? We're going to talk a lot about endpoints.
Good.
That's our main area, right? But also strategic. Why should we go to the cloud, for example? And we have the awesome OCs, and we have some guest speakers we're going to invite, especially Microsoft's guys, girls. And I really look forward to do that, Angel.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys, I love it to be behind organizing that, but that is yours. That is yours. All of see that's your guys. Member and Euros is your time. Your time to do the best of you. And and of course we will have time for networking each other. Okay, I will trying to find out the good way that the people can share. For sure, many people will like ask a question. That is one of the things that is becoming very often in the community, as you can see. It's very more and more, and I love that. But I love the question. But what I love is when people answer. And what I love really is when someone say, "Wow, thank you, I found it." Wow, come on, stop. There's nothing. That is my, that's exactly for you the top one of the. But that is exactly for me. That is my feeling. As soon as I see that, that's what motivates me.
Exactly.
Just give you an idea who am I. That the people sometimes don't know who am I, but I am there. I am behind. I'm trying to make sure that everything try to work, and you guys concentrate in your work because of wow. We didn't mention. I mean, I'm not sure. I can't remember if you mentioned how many hours exactly. But at the end of the day, yeah, you mentioned it as you need to make a equilibrium in between, and it's nice. Yeah. Good.
So, gentlemen and gentle ladies, That was Angel Garcia, the owner of this LinkedIn group. So, Angel, a big applause from all us in the group. Thank you very much for creating this. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for the person you are.
Well, the same to you, Mattias, because in fact, the interview that you have done, that I saw all of them, of course, entire. And I keep you please doing that as you wish. As long as you got the new OC become, all right, and that is not going to stop to growth. So of course we are going to search new OC. We're going to search a new member. Member is becoming more and more every day, and I think many people say, what is the platform? What is the top? I don't see the platform, to be honest. I don't see where we're going to. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to stop it in 100,000. I don't know. Just leave it, the things going, happen in self. That's it. Okay, as long as we are happy, as long as we are sharing the good information, let's go for it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Mattias. Hey, for once I did. It's the only one for once. It's only for you. I did the presenter. Okay, but I'm not. Of course, I'm not the leveling you. Your level is too high. I am not.
Stop
yours.
it.
It's good. This is good. Hey, thank you so much from Spain. Okay, I'm living in Madrid. By the way, I know people asking me sometimes. I'm often traveling to France, to Paris. And but I mean, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Mattias. It's very good presentation. We did for more than 1 hour, so
Yeah.
it's probably the longest interview that we did.
That's how it is. That's how it is. It was interesting. So,
It was
Angel,
very interesting.
I'll say
Thank you.
have a nice evening.
Okay,
And
keep positive and keep you guys healthy, especially healthy to everyone. Okay, especially. Okay, cool. Keeping health.
thank you. See ya.
See you.